Let it be known that as of June 3rd, it was declared by Shane Steichen in a press conference that he, in collaboration with Coach Nick Sirianni, will be the primary play caller for the offensive side of the football. Will this prove to ultimately be the right decision going forward? Well, let's look at some numbers and try and piece together what seems eerily similar, in my opinion, to how the Chargers were in 2020. Bird brothers and sisters, what is up? Lindy Endzone for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, one video at a time. Well, you might be wondering, well, where the hell have you been all this time? A couple of short stories to, get the video by here. One was the fact that the HVAC system for our home has, it kind of died. It's rated at over 15 years old. Their lifespan isn't all that long. The machine dates back to like 2004. So it has outlasted its life cycle pretty much. So that ended up going out to the expense of Mrs. Endzone and I having to sleep down in the basement just to get to a cooler atmosphere, if you will, in the home and try and keep the dogs as cool as possible as well. It was a nightmare, temporarily. And on top of that, we have some different setup changes here. I swapped out desks to put, to kind of organize my stuff a little bit better. And for the upgrade of the channel, I do actually, I invested in a Blue Yeti for myself to improve the audio quality. Hence the reason I'm using my Steel Series headset as well. But nonetheless, we are making some positive changes here. As it goes as well for the Linc'd In podcast over, working with Sideline Sports and having that podcast with Philly Jim. Episode 5 will premiere this Friday, and we are working on bringing a guest in. I don't think it has been disclosed yet as to who it will be. I will leave that up to Philly Jim. You can check it over on his channel. But nonetheless, we are making strides in different areas. So with that being said, of course, y'all make it to the end of the video, make sure, you can follow me on Twitter over there and like, share, and subscribe. You already know the deal. Still on my quest for 300 subs and even more. Trying to get the content out there to fellow bleed greeners, bird brothers and sisters alike. So let's get into the topic at hand, shall we? 3.5 minutes in. So as we have heard on Friday, if you caught the press conference, Shane Steichen talking about the offense, what it's going to mean for him going forward, the acquisition of players, specifically A.J. Brown, and what that does for guys like Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert, the whole 9 yards, and more importantly for his quarterback, who is under a lot of pressure right now by the majority of the fan base, even though we want him to succeed at the same time. And I had to go over some numbers with this, especially for Shane coming over from the LA Chargers, and a lot of speculatory information and talking about what he has done in terms of the run to the pass game. And if we go over the hard numbers here and go back to the 2020 season of the Chargers, now note this was the year that Justin Herbert was a rookie, and he had a pretty fantastic showing as a rookie, if I do say so for myself, as I bring some of the numbers up here. Missed one game, started 15, had a quarterback record of 6-9, under 500, take of it what you will. The defense wasn't very good that year. Still had a completion percentage of 67%, over 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, a QBR of 63. So where do we put Jalen Hurts into all this? Well, I don't know per se that I would expect Jalen Hurts to have these kind of numbers specifically. And of course, when we went into last season, Justin Herbert did so happen to be a comparison slash contrast on how I analyzed Jalen Hurts going into 2021 and what I thought he was going to perform at statistically. And if you go back and watch that prediction video and look at the hard results of Jalen Hurts' year, they were pretty close. My numbers were pretty close. So I'm not going to go into that detail for this video. But the reason I bring up Justin Herbert's numbers is that, the context behind it is that you have to, for what the Chargers were able to do in 2020 from an offensive standpoint, that's where the quarterback has to make a lot of this work. So if we go through the percentages of between the run and the pass game, only 39%, only 39% of the yardage went to the rushing attack. That same rushing attack that was, featured by Austin Eckler, and they actually had a committee themselves. And this is where I say eerily similar to that Charger season in 2020. So they had a group of 4 running backs that contributed. The Eagles have a group of 3 to 4 running backs that can contribute if they want to bring up a guy from the practice squad. As we know, we got three guys so far in Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, and Kenny Gainwell. If they want to bring up someone else from the practice squad, more of a power back, or bring Jordan Howard back into the mix, which is an unpopular opinion right now. But when he got his carries, he contributed very well, averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Excuse me. The running attack was Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, Kalen Ballard, and Justin Jackson. You had 2 running backs in that group that have averaged over 4.5 yards a carry. So you will take that, being that the league average for running backs is usually set to 4. But in totality, between those 4 running backs, some rushing by Justin Herbert, Tremaine Pope, Tyra Taylor, and you go down the list and you see a total rushing yardage of 1784 to a pass game of 45-48. Okay, well, where does the passing game correlate to how the Eagles are currently constructed? Well, let's look at it a little bit. The Eagles are comprised of now Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, and that 4th receiver, whoever you want to throw in there, whether it's Zach Pascal, Jalen Reagor. Had to give y'all a laugh. Greg Ward, Zach Pascal, name him off. Deion Kane showing up in OTAs. So whoever you want to put into that mix as a 4th receiver, even though the Chargers predominantly, for the most part, had 3 top guys contributing. If you want to throw the tight end into the mix, but between the 3 receivers, if we want to go AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins, and then throw the tight end into the mix, which in this case was Hunter Henry, you had a rough total of 4,548 passing yards, and that includes guys like Tyron Johnson, a little bit of Donald Parham, the number 2 tight end, Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry himself had 60 catches. You got Jalen Guyton with 28, Tyron Johnson with 20. Keenan Allen was their primary at 100, and then you had Mike Williams. So you had your 2-headed monster between Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, which combined for a total of almost 150 receptions between the 2 of them. Your tight end had 60. Okay, so if you wanted to make it a mixture of Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert, judging by the numbers in 2020 to how Shane Steichen coordinated the offense, it could very well work. If you wanted to do a better split between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, more so, you got 148 between the two of them, and they each have maybe 70 receptions, and then you throw a little bit more to Hunter Henry, and match that mentality to Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and Dallas Goedert. You could very well do that. Is it going to shorten the contributions between guys like Quez Watkins or the number 2 tight end, whether that's going to be Jack Stoll or Tyree Jackson, or Grant Calcaterra? Who knows to this point? But overall, you need to get your primary playmakers the ball as much as you possibly can, in the mix of how respected they're going to be from a defensive standpoint. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on what we could possibly expect, from a standpoint in Shane Steichen being the primary play caller. Now, that's not to say that Sirianni is not going to be involved. Sirianni is still going to have some of the overruling aspects, or say that he would prefer a different play call in a certain situation. Sirianni's going to have the power to do so, and that's one thing that Shane Steichen has mentioned in his press conference. But I wanted to bring to light on the similarities between the 2020 Chargers and the 2022 Eagles and how they are constructed from a personnel standpoint. I think one of the biggest differences going forward is the quarterback play. Jalen Hurts has used his legs a lot more compared to Justin Herbert. But the other difference is that I believe Hurts was sacked less last year as opposed to Justin Herbert in his rookie year, where he was sacked 32 times. So overall, we could have a pretty good product here if Jalen Hurts manages to have some resemblance of Justin Herbert's rookie year and how good Justin is in terms of a passer. Yes, we understand that right now that's more of a weakness to Jalen than it is a strength, but that's what training camp and OTAs are for, to really hone in and continue his development. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on how this could possibly work for the Eagles going forward. Yes, it's a bit of a negative that, the run to pass ratio isn't what we exactly want, being that the offensive line is constructed the way it is in that desire to want to run the football. You don't have a group of athletic guys like that and sit back and pass all day. So I think Shane's going to have to find a little bit more of a balance there and get it a little closer to 50-50. Not that I think it's going to happen, because 39 to 61 isn't the greatest ratio. So if we can see more of a 55-45, I think that would be more of the Eagles' favor, as opposed to the Chargers with more of a gunslinging passing quarterback. But at the end of the day, I think this could still very well spell success by elevating the play caller's role for Shane Steichen and the Eagles offense of 2022. But with that said, I'm going to get out of here. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments on this conversation. How much trust do you have in Shane Steichen? How hot is his seat going forward into this year? Do you think this kind of difference in collaboration is going to work out going forward in taking a little less responsibility off of Nick Sirianni so he can focus on other things as well? But I will tell you what and leave you with this. At least Sirianni had a little bit of humility to do something like this, as opposed to Doug Peterson, who wanted all of the power, and it was either his way or the highway in terms of wanting to run the offense the way he did. So credit to Sirianni for taking a little bit of a step down, even though his involvement isn't going to be, as isn't going to be as cut off as some may think. So with that said, thank y'all for making it to the end of the video. And as always, when it comes to me, Lindy, fly Eagles fly, bleed green. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a good night. And I will see you next time.